Hello everyone. Today, I will explain how to crochet this tulip flower handwoven bag. First, let's take a look at our materials. We will receive 4 strips. This is the main off-white thread for crocheting. Then we have the threads for the leaves and flowers. We will match the colors based on what you purchased. Then you will receive a base plate and our crochet hook, sewing needle, and several stitch markers. Everyone, please check if you have received all the materials. Next, we will start crochet. First, take out the thread for the base. Take a look at the bag picture you purchased. What color is the bottom? Let's start with what color thread then. Here, the demonstration is using off-white and light green. For pink, we need to start with our off-white thread. Then take out our base plate. Our base plate. Our base plate. Where is our baseboard? Our baseboard. We need to first make a mark on the baseboard. Here, to save time, I directly used marked one. It's in our. Everyone, take a look. We have 4 raised rivets on our floor. This is the position where our rivets protrude. Then, at the corresponding 4 holes on the rivet shoes. Mark them with a marker clip. If everyone can't see clearly, take a screenshot and save it. Find the 4 holes on your sole corresponding to them. Mark them. Then, we start crocheting. Take out the main thread in the color you purchased. The thread below. Here, I'm demonstrating off-white, apple green, and pink. First, find an end of the thread. Then, the position where we insert the needle. Everyone, it's our rivet. Make sure to use the side where the rivet protrudes. Insert the crochet hook. Don't turn it over. One side of our rivet is flat. One side of the rivet protrudes. Our crochet hook. Insert the crochet hook from this central position. Thread our fabric strip yarn through the hook. This hooks the fabric strip onto the hook. Then pull the fabric strip from this hole. Now there is a loop on the crochet hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook from the back of the crochet hook. Hook the fabric strip with the hook. Then pull it through the loop on the crochet hook. This completes a starting chain. We will have a yarn end. We take this yarn end, press it against the back of our baseboard with a finger. Gradually crochet and hide it away. Into the next hole. In the next hole, we crochet a single crochet. The stitch technique for the single crochet involves the crochet hook passing through the eye of the hole. Make sure there is a loop on the crochet hook. Then directly pass the crochet hook through the hole. After passing through, the yarn end is above the crochet hook. Press it with a finger. Do not let it sway back and forth. Then hook the fabric strip like this. The yarn over is in front of the hook like this. Hook it. After hooking it, if it's difficult for beginners, we can directly use our hands to hold this yarn. Hook it onto our hook like this. Then use the hook to pull it over with a loop of yarn. Now there are 2 loops on the hook and needle. Wrap the yarn around the hook like this. Take a look. The yarn is on the back of the hook and needle. Then wrap it around the hook. Then successively pass through these 2 loops. That completes a single crochet. We use a marker. Mark the position of the first single crochet. Everyone take a look. Here, a V-shaped shape will form. This is our first single crochet in crocheting. We need to mark it with a marker on the first single crochet. Next, we move to the next hole position, where the marker is placed as a mark. We need to sew 2 single crochet through this hole position. This mark button can be removed now. The technique for the single crochet remains the same. The crochet hook goes through this hole. And then like this. This way, we hook our yarn. Directly pull over a loop of yarn. There are 2 loops on the crochet hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook head first. Then pull through the 2 loops in sequence. This completes a single crochet, because this is where we increase stitches. We also need to do another stitch at this position. We need to crochet another single crochet here. The crochet hook still goes directly through this hole. Then hook our yarn. Pull over another loop of yarn. Then hook the crochet hook. Wrap around the yarn strip like this. Then pass through the 2 loops on the crochet hook in sequence. This way, we have finished 2 single crochets in this hole. Next, we just need to crochet a single crochet in each hole. This is for making a marker button. Fasten the marker button, marked with a buckle. Here, we need to crochet 2 single crochet. All the other holes are crocheted with a single crochet. We crochet it in order. The technique of the single crochet is very simple. There is originally a loop on the crochet hook. Then the hook goes through, hooking onto our long strip of cloth thread. Bring over a loop. The crochet hook winds around the thread like this. Then successively pass through 2 loops on the hook. This completes a single crochet. Each of the following. These positions without marked holes. All crochet in a single crochet. When we are crocheting, we must pay attention. We must wind the thread correctly. Only when the thread is wound correctly will you easily pass through 2 loops. Let's all carefully observe the winding of the thread again. Wind the thread like this and then pass through 2 loops. When we are crocheting, we must not crochet too loosely. If it's too loose, it won't look good. The bag won't be 3-dimensional. This loop on the crochet hook, we make it less than or equal to 1 centimeter. Don't let it be too long. This 1 loop. Then hook the needle over. Then hook onto our thread. Then pull over another loop. This loop that's pulled over, probably 1 centimeter. When making the first loop, it should be slightly longer. This is our first loop. Here, it's probably about 1 to slightly over 1 centimeter. Then wrap the needle around the thread. Successively pull through 2 loops. Beginner crocheting. Once you get the hang of wrapping the thread, it will be easy for you to pull through 2 loops at once. I won't explain each of the single crochet here on these positions without marked holes. Everyone crochet a single crochet. The technique for the single crochet is actually the simplest. There's 1 loop on the hook. Then the hook goes through the hole. Pull over a loop with the hook. Hook the needle around the thread again. Successively pull through 2 loops on the hook. Then we crochet until here where the marker is. Here, we need to crochet 2 single crochet. We can take off the marker now. Thread 2 single crochet through this whole position. First, crochet the first single crochet. Then continue to crochet down through this whole position. Bring over another strip of fabric. Then crochet around the thread again through 2 loops. That way, 2 single crochet are crocheted in this whole position. Then the remaining 3 whole positions. Still crochet 1 single crochet in each whole position. Then at the corner. At here. This whole position needs to crochet 2 single crochet again. Crochet through this whole position to crochet 1 single crochet. Then crochet through this whole position again. Crochet another single crochet. That way, the 2 single crochet outside this hole are crocheted. Next, for the following hole positions. Simply crochet 1 single crochet in each hole position. Continue crocheting until reaching the position where an increased stitch is needed. When we are crocheting, don't crochet too loosely. When crocheting too loosely, it will weaken the 3-dimensional effect of our bag. Yes, when we say too loose, we mean that loop. If each loop is pulled too long, the bag will become loose. Let's not pull the loops too long. And for beginners, try to crochet a bit slower. Beginners should crochet a bit slower. Try to make each single crochet consistent. Then crochet it evenly. Don't let the loop be too long at times and too short at other times. Try to make our crocheting as even as possible. Each loop pulled out by each single crochet should be kept as consistent as possible. On our crochet hook, this loop doesn't need to be too long. Less than or equal to 1 centimeter is enough. Continue crocheting until the increased stitch position. At this position, we need to crochet 2 single crochet. Then take it off. After that, let's start by crocheting the first single crochet. Then pass through the same hole again. Crochet another single crochet. Then pass through the last hole here. Crochet the single crochet. Here at the end, the hole where we just started inserting the needle, the crochet hook still needs to pass through. Crochet the last single crochet. This way, we complete the first round. Only then can we finish crocheting all the single crochet. Then crochet to the last stitch. Everyone, take a look. Here, we will have the last stitch. Under the crochet hook, there will be a corresponding V shape. We need to attach a marker to this V shape. This is the last stitch of our first round. Next, we need to connect the first and last stitch of the first round. We hook the crochet hook on the V shape of the first round. At the V shapes, we pass the crochet hook through. Where the mark was made on the first round, we pass the crochet hook through. Make a mark where the first round is hooked. Then hook another loop over. Just pull the previous loop over directly. Pull this wire into the coil at the back. This is creating a slip stitch. After completing the draw, we pull our fabric yarn diagonally upwards like this. Then tighten this wire. Everyone, take a look at this coil here. Tighten it. Pull it tightly diagonally upwards. After tightening, we then come back and pull our long wire. Then make the loop on our crochet hook. Very small. After completing the slip stitch, we then crochet a starting chain. The stitch of the starting chain is the crochet hook wrapping around the yarn, then pulling it directly over the loop on the crochet hook. This way, our first and last stitches of the first round are connected. Next, we crochet the second round. The stitch of the second round is actually still a single crochet. We need to, the second round does not require increased stitches. Still single crochets on each V shape. Simply crochet a single crochet on each V shape. Everyone, take a look. Crochet a single crochet on each V shape here. When you reach the corner, crochet another single crochet. For the second round, there is no increase or decrease. Those 42 single crochets. There is no need to add stitches for the second round. Just 42 single crochets. The position to insert the second stitch is the same as our first stitch. It's the marker for our first round. The position to hook the first stitch is where we need to insert our stitch. The hook passes through here. Loop over a loop. So the hook has 2 loops on it. Wrap the hook and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. The first stitch of the second round is complete. This is similar to what we just did, which slit stitch at this marked spot here. Then we pass through here again. Crochet the first single crochet of the second round. Take off the loop and hook it onto our second round, the corresponding V shape here. The first single crochet of the second round. The first single crochet under the hooked stitch. Here is the first single crochet. We will have some here. Because my slip stitch and starting chain are tight, there will be some very small V shapes. Everyone, take a look. These are not counted as stitches. Everyone here doesn't need to worry about this. It's the first stitch of the second round. Button up with a marker on the first stitch. This is the first stitch of the second round. This large V shape. Next, we crochet the second stitch of the second round. You need to be vertical in the next V shape. Directly hook the needle through. There's always a loop on the hook needle. Then hook the needle through. Hook over 1 loop. Then hook the needle over 2 loops. Hook the needle around and pull over 2 loops one by one. Crochet the yarn around, pulling through 2 loops one by one. What about the second round? We don't need to crochet it too tightly. There's no need to crochet too loosely. We don't need to crochet too loosely. Sorry, what I said earlier was incorrect. Let's aim not to crochet too loosely. We crochet around this loop. Everyone take a look. There's a loop on the crochet hook. Try to keep this loop on the hook. It's better to maintain a non-slipping state like this. Don't pull it too long. If we pull it too long, our bag won't look good. Basically, the crochet hook won't slip, and then it's less than a centimeters. Less than or equal to 1 centimeter is the best state. Then on the next V shape. This is on the next V shape. The crochet hook goes through. Hook over a loop. This loop that's hooked over is about 1 centimeter or so. Don't pull it too long either. It's about 1 centimeter or so. The crochet hook wraps the thread and drags over 2 loops in succession. Then the next stitch. Similarly, the crochet hook goes through the next V shape. Then hook the thread. Then, pass the thread successively through 2 loops. Everyone, take a look. This coil is approximately this length, and each one. On each V shape, we will crochet a single crochet. Pay attention while crocheting. When we crochet, we can first bend our first loop like this. Bend out the loops of the first loop like this. Because this is the bottom of our bag, we need to expose the rivet. First, manually bend the first round like this. This will prevent mistakes in crocheting. Okay, bend it and withdraw on each V shape. Crochet a single crochet. Our single crochet technique is the simplest. What everyone needs to do is learn how to pass the thread. If you don't learn how to pass the thread correctly, it will be difficult to pass through 2 loops successively. Next, everyone needs to learn how to wind the wire. If you wind the wire incorrectly, it will be difficult to pass through 2 loops in sequence. Only by mastering the winding technique can you do it effortlessly. Pass through the 2 loops above the crochet hook in sequence. We roughly crochet each single crochet. Pull out the loop roughly. Try to keep it consistent. Then, don't let the loop be too long for a while. One loop after another, then the next. The loop of the next single crochet on the crochet hook shouldn't be too short. Otherwise, it will result in uneven crocheting. If you feel the loop is too long, just pull the yarn again. Adjust it again. Then continue crocheting. Beginners should crochet slowly at the beginning. Don't rush to finish quickly. It must be crocheted evenly, gradually through your crocheting. Master those techniques. Your crocheting will be smoother once you've mastered them. Our second round. Crochet 1 single crochet on each V shape gradually. As we gradually crochet, the second round of the bag is almost finished. The second round does not involve increased stitch. A total of 42 single crochets have been crocheted. We keep crocheting until we reach the marker. The very last stitch is fastened. Here we crochet up short. What comes after the stitch? Remove the marker by slipping it off. Then fasten it to where we just finished the last stitch. This last stitch corresponds to a V shape. Fasten it with a marker. This V shape. Everyone, take a look. This is the last stitch of our second round. Then, we start connecting the first and last stitches of the second round using a slip stitch. The crochet hook directly goes through this first stitch of the second round. Right here of the first stitch. Goes through to this V-shaped point, then catch the yarn. Hook over a loop. Pull the previous loop into this loop behind. After pulling this loop, everyone must remember to pull this yarn in an upward diagonal direction. Give it a tug like this. Make the pulling very tight. Then pull the longer yarn again. Let's adjust the loop on the crochet hook to make it smaller. After making it smaller, wrap the yarn around the crochet hook and pull it through the loop on the hook. This completes a chain stitch. So, the first and last stitches of our second round are now connected. After finishing the crocheting, we manually move the yarn and bend it inside like this. After crocheting, it resembles a small boat shape. Everyone, take a look. This is our bottom. Our rivets are exposed on the outside. Be careful not to reverse it. This is our rivet. This flat part is our interior. Be careful not to reverse it. We manually bend the yarn like this, so it faces the correct direction. Our second round of crocheting is now completed. Now, for the method of crocheting the third round. It's exactly the same as the second round. Continue to crochet a single crochet in each V-shape. Within each V-shape. The crocheting method in the third round is relatively simple. No need to increase stitches in the third round either. Each V-shape forms a single crochet. At each corner, each V-shape forms a single crochet. Then, the first stitch of our third round, still at the marker from our second round here. The position of the first stitch is still here. Pass through. Then hook onto our yarn. Hook over a loop of yarn. Then wrap the yarn over 2 loops. Then remove the marker. Take off this marker. Attach it at the first stitch of our second and third rounds. Below our crochet hook, there is a V-shape. This large V-shape belongs to our third round. Hook the first stitch. Then the second stitch of the third round. Still the same. Crochet a single crochet on the next V-shape. Next, we quickly crochet a single crochet on each V-shape, crocheting with a single crochet. When we are crocheting, let everyone take a look. This loop on the crochet hook probably means the hook can move back and forth. But it's almost impossible to drop off. That's the best state. We must learn how to wrap the yarn correctly. If you don't wrap the yarn well, just review the first few stitches of the initial round. The progress there is relatively slow. Then there will be a detailed explanation on yarn wrapping, only when you wrap the yarn correctly.
绕线绕对了。
Pull through 2 loops in sequence. The crocheting method for the third round is the same as the crocheting method for the second round. Crochet a single crochet on each V-shape. Then when we crochet, the tension for the third round is the same as the tension for the second round. Try to keep it consistent. Keep the tension consistent. Make sure the tension remains consistent. The loop pulled out. Try to make each single crochet as similar as possible. Through our gradual crocheting, we are about to complete the third round of our crocheting. Continue crocheting until we reach the position for the final stitch. This is the position for our marking stitch, the final one to secure. Insert the crochet hook through. Similarly, crochet another single crochet. Then the marking stitch can be removed. Then secure it on the last V-shape of our third round. Next, proceed to do a yarn over. Still, insert the hook through the V shape of the first stitch. Bring over a loop. Directly drag this loop onto the next loop. After dragging, remember to pull the yarn diagonally upwards. This pulling helps tighten this area. After tightening, pull this longer thread again. Then adjust the loop on the crochet hook, making it smaller. Once it's particularly small, we wrap the yarn around the hook again. Drag it over the loop on the hook. That completes a chain stitch. Everyone, take a look. Everyone, take a look. Pulling and locking the needle. Try to make it smaller for a more aesthetic appearance. So we have completed the crocheting for the first 3 rounds. Our main line has been woven. Next, we start crocheting the leaves. We can cut off the main line now. We need to prepare a small pair of scissors. Cut off the main line from here. Leave about 10 centimeters, and then you can cut it off. Then use a crochet hook to pull this thread over here. Next, we take out our sewing needle, this small plastic needle, then thread it through this line. Hide the end of the thread. Then from the hole of our first stitch, thread it through inside first, then hide it at the back. You will see some loops at the back. Our crochet hook is not the plastic needle. Thread it through these loops inside. Hide about 6 or 7 stitches. After hiding about 6 or 7 stitches, it will feel very discreet. Now we can trim off the excess. When trimming, when cutting, we cut the thread like this at the base. Don't cut into our packaging. These lines on top. We hide the ends of the lines inside. Can everyone completely not see them? It won't affect our aesthetics. Let's adjust this. Everyone, pay attention to this as well. This rivet of ours. This is the bottom of our bag. It's where the rivet protrudes. We don't want to turn the bag inside out. This is our front. The front is quite symmetrical. Such single crochet. Next, we will crochet leaves. Leaves. How to crochet leaves. Everyone, take a look. Here we have a diagram explaining the crocheting method for leaves. It means starting with double crochet. Leaves are repeated. It's all about repeating double crochet chain stitches and adding double crochet. This is one set. It's a set of leaves. We keep repeating to crochet 14 times. We will crochet 14 leaves. Next, let me explain the double crochet to everyone. Chain stitch and double crochet. Displayed here is a beige, apple green, and pink. So, my leaf is made of apple green thread. I take out the apple green thread. First, find an end of the thread and then crochet hook in the first stitch marked with a marker. Insert it first. At the first stitch, after inserting it, hook onto our leaf. The leaf strip of fabric thread. Hook onto the leaf, then pull over a loop of thread. Then, over here, leave approximately about 5 to 6 centimeters of thread end is fine. Leave an end of the thread. Then press the end of the thread inside this pouch. Finally, let's hide it again. Then, the crochet hook. Wrap the thread around like this. Hook over a loop of thread on our crochet hook. This completes a chain stitch. We need to crochet 3 chain stitches. Hook the thread around again, through a loop on the crochet hook. 2 chain stitches. The crochet hook wraps around the yarn like this, through this loop on the crochet hook. These are 3 chain stitches. We secure this marker. The first marker can be removed now. For a clearer demonstration, I'll switch to a different color. Switching to a pink marker. Attach it to our leaf. Everyone, take a look at the 3rd chain stitch. Everyone, take a look. These are the 3 chain stitches we are working on. This is the first chain stitch. The V-shape of the second chain stitch. The 3rd chain stitch corresponds to a V-shape. We attach a marker on this V-shape. After attaching the marker, we then wrap the yarn around the crochet hook. We need to add another chain stitch to the crochet. The crochet hook from the back wraps around this yarn of ours. The yarn comes around from the back of the crochet hook, wraps around the hook head, then pull through a loop on the crochet hook. These are 4 chain stitches. We are just starting, using 4 chain stitches to replace 1 double crochet first. It's not the beginning. I misspoke. It's using 3 chain stitches to replace 1 double crochet first. Then crochet in another chain stitch. Next, we need to crochet in another double crochet. As for the technique of the double crochet, it's wrapping the hook thread around. Then still at the first hole. Pass through the first hole we just mentioned. Hook onto our long strip of fabric. So there are 3 loops on the hook. Everyone, take a look. 3 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3 hook loops. Wrap the thread, or wrap the thread first. It must be wrapped correctly. After wrapping correctly, first pull through the first 2 loops. Then the hook wraps around our long fabric strip. Then pull through the last 2 loops in sequence. That completes 1 double crochet. Now we are essentially a double crochet. Chain stitch, double crochet. Just starting, we use 3 chain stitches instead of 1 double crochet. Then, next, we move on to the next leaf. For the needle insertion, we need to skip 2 holes. Everyone, take a look. This is the position where our first leaf is inserted. Then, skip 2 V-shaped stitches. At the 3rd V-shaped stitch, we proceed to threading the needle and crocheting a double crochet. As for the technique of the double crochet, it remains the same. The crochet hook loops around the thread and enters the 3rd hole. Then, pull through a loop. The crochet hook loops around and pulls through the first 2 loops. The crochet hook loops around and pulls through the last 2 loops. This completes 1 double crochet. Then, the crochet hook loops around and pulls through the loop on the hook. This is a chain stitch. After completing the chain stitch, we switch back to crochet another double crochet in the same hole. This way, our leaves are all made up of double crochet, chain stitch, double crochet combination. Between every 2 leaves, we need to skip 2 stitches. Everyone, take a look. Leave 2 empty V-shapes between every 2 leaves. Do not crochet in the empty V-shapes. We repeat this pattern. Continue leaving 2 empty V-shapes. Leave 2 empty V-shapes without crocheting into them. In the 3rd V-shape, we thread through it. Crochet yarn around the 3rd V-shape. Hook the needle through. Loop a thread around. Then crochet the needle, wrap the yarn and pull through the front 2 loops on the needle. Hook the yarn again and pull through the back 2 loops on the needle. It's a double crochet, then wrap the yarn to crochet a chain stitch. Wrap the yarn to crochet another double crochet. Crochet another double crochet in the same hole. If you're not familiar with the double crochet, you can watch repeatedly at the first leaf. Here, the explanation is more detailed. Then onto the next set of leaves. Leave 2 empty holes. In the 3rd hole, thread through. First wrap the yarn with the hook needle. Here, first crochet a double crochet. Then wrap the thread around to crochet a chain stitch. Wrap the thread again. Crochet another double crochet at the same hole position. Leave 2 hole positions empty for the next set of leaves. At the 3rd hole position, hook the needle around first to crochet another double crochet. Then hook the needle around to create a chain stitch. Hook the needle again. Crochet another double crochet at the same hole position. Leave 2 hole positions empty for the next leaf. At the 3rd hole position, crochet another double crochet first. Then crochet a chain stitch. Crochet another double crochet at the same hole position. Here where we're crocheting the leaf, we can be a bit looser. A bit looser is fine. Then on the next, leave 2 hole positions empty for the next set of leaves. Crochet a double crochet at the 3rd hole position first. Then a chain stitch. Then crochet another double crochet. For the double crochet, start by wrapping the thread around. Then leave 2 hole positions empty for the next set of leaves. Crochet a double crochet first. Then a chain stitch. Then crochet another double crochet. Then the next set of leaves. Then leave 2 holes empty. First, crochet a double crochet on the 3rd hole. Then a chain stitch. Then crochet around the double crochet. The double crochet needs to be wrapped before crocheting. We keep repeating this. Leave 2 holes empty. Crochet a double crochet on the 3rd hole first. Then a chain stitch. Then crochet around the thread to form a double crochet. Leave 2 holes empty for the next set of leaves. Find the 3rd hook and pass through. First, crochet a double crochet. Then wrap a chain stitch. Wrap the thread again. Crochet a double crochet on the same hole. Here, as long as we wrap the thread correctly, we can easily crochet this double crochet. Then every 2 leaves. There should be 2 empty holes between every 2 leaves. Everyone must remember not to forget those 2 empty holes. Leave 2 holes empty. A double crochet, chain stitch, and another double crochet make up our leaf. Keep crocheting continuously. Everyone, take a look. In the end, we have exactly 2 stitches left. This is our final stitch. Adding the previous stitch, we still have 2 stitches left. That's correct. We don't need to crochet these 2 stitches. Then the stitch marker can be removed. Then we just hook this pink stitch marker at the 3rd stitch marker position. Insert the crochet hook directly to pull through. Insert the hook from the V shape. Then catch the fabric strip. Hook over to form a loop. Take this loop and pull it directly into the back loop. Hook here and tighten. I dropped my hook just now. If anyone didn't see clearly, let me demonstrate again. Finishing the last set of leaves inside this V shape of the stitch marker. Pass through and hook over to form a loop. Simply pull this loop into the back loop. That's it. Then we need to tighten this thread. Tighten it. We must make sure this loop is particularly tight. After tightening, we can then cut off this excess thread. Before cutting, everyone, it's better to check first. Check if we have exactly 14 leaves. If you made a mistake in crocheting, we should promptly make corrections. Everyone, please check. Each leaf is like this, completed with 2 double crochets and a chain stitch. Check if there are 14 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just right. It's 14. Now everyone recheck each set of leaves. Are they made up of 2 double crochets like this? If you missed a stitch, you'll need to unravel and crochet again. Check for any omissions. Check to see if there are any missing stitches. It's all made up of 2 double crochets like this. Everyone, please check first. Make sure the crocheting is correct. We can cut the fabric strip now. Leave about 10 centimeters of thread. Cut off the excess thread. Then pull this thread directly over. Then hide it with our sewing needle. Or thread through our back. Thread it from here to the back. Then fold the back over like this with the thread. Give it. We can go back and forth like this. We can go back and forth. Here in our place. Thread it back and forth a few times with some hidden stitches. A few hidden stitches like this will do. Later, when we crochet the flowers, we will wrap it around again, so it won't show. We'll hide a few more stitches. Probably about 5 or 6 more stitches. After hiding a few more stitches, we can cut off the excess thread. At the beginning, this thread will hide it too. At the beginning, these thread ends will hide them inside this white loop of ours. That's all we need. Everyone, take a look at this white one of ours. We wear it around this white part here. Thread it through with a few stitches. If the end of the thread you're holding is long, then make a few more stitches. If the leftover thread is short, then we can make fewer stitches. After hiding a few stitches, we can trim off the excess. Then flip it over. And there, we've crocheted the leaf. We'll have a preliminary shape of a little boat. Everyone, take a look. This is the shape of our little boat. You can also shape it with your hands. After crocheting the leaves, next, we'll crochet the flowers. Take out the fabric strip for the flowers. Over here, I'll demonstrate using pink thread. First, find an end of the thread, and then our crochet hook. Everyone, let's start from the leaf. Right here. It's more appropriate to start inserting the needle from this leaf. Let's take a look at this leaf with our crochet hook. There is a large hole between these two double crochets of the leaf. We insert the crochet hook through this large hole. Hook onto the thread of this flower. Then bring the thread over to form a loop here. Leave some thread here. It's better to leave about 10 centimeters of thread. Comparatively good. Then we hook onto this long strip of fabric. Hook the long strip of fabric. Hook the thread and pull it over to form a loop. Take a look. There will be a V shape here. This is a V shape. This is the first chain stitch. Then we crochet 4 chain stitches. Then pull the crochet hook over the second loop. This is the second chain stitch. Then wrap the thread and pull it over the next loop, the third chain stitch. Then hook the thread, wrap it around, and pull it over this loop. This way, we have crocheted 4 chain stitches. Can everyone see clearly? Here, there are 4 V shapes. This is where we use 4 chain stitches. We place them on the 4th V-shaped stitch. Secure it with a marker clip. On the 4th chain stitch, secure it with a marker clip. Then we start at the same position. Still at this large hole position. We crochet 3 double crochet on it. Then we wrap the yarn around the hook first. Pass through this large hole position. Hook a loop over. Then wrap the yarn over the first 2 loops. Then crochet. Then wrap the yarn over the last 2 loops. Here where we crochet the double crochet. Crochet the double crochet here. We need the loop to be smaller. Don't let it pull too long. If it's pulled too long, it won't look good. Then hook onto this loop. Hook onto this loop. Everyone, take a look. Probably keep this last loop. Keep the crochet hook in a secure state. That's the right way. Then the next double crochet is still a crochet hook. First, wrap the wire around this large hole. Or thread it through. Hook onto our coil. Everyone, take a look. Hook over 1 coil. Then hook the needle. Wrap the wire, dragging it across the first 2 coils. Then hook the needle, wrap the wire, dragging it across the last 2 coils. Another double crochet completed. We still need to crochet another double crochet. Here in our work, when crocheting the double crochet, be sure not to pull the thread too long so that the flowers will look more delicate. Take a look, everyone. If anyone is unsure of how many stitches to crochet, we can check this vertical. 1 vertical line represents 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet. Inside the flower, having 4 vertical lines like this is enough. Then simply remove the hook. At the marked button here, the hook needle goes through the V-shaped loop, then pass through this coil here. Drag this coil directly into this V-shaped area. Drag it over here. After dragging it over here, the loop on our crochet hook is quite long. Let's pull this long thread again. Pull it tighter. Then after dragging it over, crochet 3 chain stitches. Wrap the thread and drag it over the loop on the hook. This is a chain stitch. Then wrap the thread and drag it over 2 chain stitches. Wrap the thread again through this loop. And thus, the 3rd chain stitch is complete. Now we have crocheted a flower. After crocheting a flower, we use our fingers to shape it from the back. Shape this to have a flower-like form. Let it have a flower shape. For a fuller shape like this is our flower. Next, we need to go through each and every one. We need to crochet 4 double crochets through this large hole. It's better to wrap the thread around the double crochet before threading it through this large hole. Then bring in a loop. Everyone, pay attention. Don't make this loop too long. About 1 centimeter. Don't exceed 1.5 centimeters. Around 1 centimeter is enough. Then, hook the needle around the thread and pull it through the first 2 loops. Then, wrap the thread through the back 2 loops. This loop here on this side is also about 1 centimeter. Don't pull it too long. After wrapping the thread through 2 loops, this completes a double crochet. Now the loop on the hook needle. Try to make it smaller. The hook needle is in a state where it won't fall off. It's quite perfect. Then, wrap the hook needle around this large hole and pass through it. The second double crochet on the hook needle. Then, wrap the hook needle around this large hole and pass through it. The third double crochet on the hook needle. When crocheting flowers, each loop's length. They're all a bit smaller. Don't pull it too tightly, especially when it comes to the 4th double crochet. Everyone, when it comes to the 4th double crochet here, our thread here, don't pull it too tightly. And then finish the hooking. If anyone forgets, count them yourself. This is 1 double crochet, 2 of them, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets. After the 4 double crochets, we remove the crochet hook. And then at the first one, everyone, take a look. At the first double crochet, there will correspond to a V shape, which is the 4th one from the end. Everyone, take a look. This is 1, 2, 3. 4 is at the V shape of the 4th one from the end. Insert the hook. Insert it and then hook it. Then pass through the loop just made. Drag this loop directly into the V shape. Start by pulling the yarn. After pulling the yarn through the hole, let's pull this loop again. Pull the longer thread. Then, make this part a bit smaller. The crochet hook won't fall off. The condition is quite good. Then, crochet up 3 chain stitches. Wrap the hook around and pull it through this loop first. This loop is approximately 1 centimeter in size. Then wrap the yarn around and pull it through this loop again. This is the 2nd chain stitch. Wrap the yarn around again and pull it through this loop. 3 chain stitches. With this, our next flower is completed. Everyone, take a look. Here we have a diagram for our flower. All done with 4 double crochets. Then, pull the yarn again. Crochet another 3 chain stitches, and the flower is done. After this, just keep repeating this step. As for the needle positioning of our flower, all within this central hole of our leaf. Threading. Crocheting 4 short and 4 double crochets on this central hole. Next, we need to crochet 4 double crochets. The crochet hook passes through this hole, hooking a loop around. Then wrap the thread across the first 2. Wrap the thread across the back 2. Then wrap the thread to crochet the 2nd double crochet. When crocheting the double crochet, let's not make the loop too long. Then crochet the 3rd double crochet. What we pull over. Everyone, take a look. This loop we pull over, it should be just over a centimeter. Don't pull it too long. First wrap the thread across the first 2 loops. Then wrap the thread across the back 2 loops. Then crochet the 4th double crochet. Especially when crocheting the 4th double crochet here. Especially here, when crocheting onto the 4th double crochet, we must pay attention to this thread. Don't pull it too tightly. It will affect our aesthetics. This line, it must be kept at just over 1 centimeter. Then, it's just right. Then wrap the thread around the first 2 loops. Then wrap the thread through the back 2 loops. Then we complete crocheting 4 double crochet. Remove the crochet hook, starting from the 4th last position. Thread it through and then through the loop. From this point, then pull it directly into this V shape. Make a pull. After completing the pull, we pull our long thread again. Make this thread a bit smaller. Then wrap the hook around and pull through this loop. 1 chain stitch. Wrap the thread around 2 chain stitches. Wrap the thread around 3 chain stitches. And thus, we have completed crocheting another flower. Next, we won't explain each step in detail. We won't explain each step to you in detail. For each large leaf's large hole, crochet in 4 single crochets. First, crochet the first single crochet. Crochet 4 double crochet. First, crochet the first double crochet. Then, crochet the second double crochet. Crochet the third double crochet. Then, crochet the fourth double crochet. We crochet up to this fourth double crochet. Pay attention to this yarn. Do not pull it too long. After crocheting the fourth double crochet, we can take the crochet hook off. Pass through from the fourth V shape from the end. Then pass through this loop. Directly pull this loop to the back. Inside this loop, pull it tighter. Then pull this long yarn. Make this loop smaller. After that, wrap the yarn and pull it through this loop. 1 chain stitch. Wrap the yarn and pull through 2 chain stitches. Wrap the yarn and pull through 3 chain stitches. After completing crocheting 3 chain stitches, still crochet 4 double crochet on the next leaf. First, crochet the first double crochet. Then wrap the yarn around. Crochet the second double crochet. Then wrap the yarn around. Crochet the third double crochet. Wrap the yarn again and crochet the fourth double crochet. The fourth double crochet. Don't pull it too long here. After crocheting the 4 double crochets, make a slip stitch on the 4th V shape from the bottom. Then crochet 3 lock needles on top. Next, crochet 4 double crochets on the next leaf. Two double crochets. 3 double crochets. Then the 4th double crochet. Don't make the 4th double crochet too long. Then flip the hook back. 2 slip stitch. Then pull the yarn a bit tighter. Crochet 3 lock needles on top. After completing the 3 lock needles, crochet 4 double crochets on the next leaf. 1 double crochet. 2 double crochets. 3 double crochets.
4个长针，
4 double crochets. After that, we do the slip stitch. Crocheting leaves. When crocheting leaves, we can slightly elongate the loops. Then we crochet flowers. When crocheting the petals, we must not pull the loops too long. If pulled too long, it will make our flowers look bad. When crocheting flowers, make the loop smaller. Make each loop smaller. Only then will the woven flowers be full and beautiful. After crocheting 4 double crochet, do the pulling. After completing the pulling, add 3 chain stitches. Then, crochet 4 double crochet on the next leaf. If anyone is still not familiar with crocheting double crochet, we will carefully observe the previous few flowers. The crocheting of the first few flowers is slower. We will provide detailed explanations. We will continue to repeat the 4 double crochet, double crochet. Then pull out. After pulling out, 3 lock needles. Every flower is composed like this. After pulling out the eye, we pull the thread to make the loop smaller. Then crochet up 3 chain stitches. Then in the next leaf, there are still 3 double crochet. For beginners, we must crochet slowly. Don't rush. Make sure each double crochet is crocheted evenly. Only then will each flower's size be the same. This will make it more beautiful. Crochet 4 double crochet at the large hole of each leaf. Especially the 4th double crochet. Don't pull it too long. After crocheting the double crochet, do a pull. After pulling out the eye, pull the thread, then crochet 3 chain stitches. The first chain stitch must be tight. The second and third chain stitches can be a bit loose. Then on the large hole of the last leaf, we crochet. Or double crochet. Take another look at whether it's better to crochet with 4 double crochets or do a slip stitch. Then pull the thread. First, crochet a chain stitch, then crochet 2 more chain stitches. After finishing this chain stitch, we can remove the marker clip here. The marker clip on the leaf can be removed. Then on this leaf, right at the starting point of the marker clip, thread the needle through to do a slip stitch. Thread the needle through. Hook a loop over. Directly drag this loop to the back, inside this loop. Then pull tight, a bit tighter. After pulling tighter, we can leave about 10 centimeters of thread. Cut it off. Then pull the thread over like this. After pulling it over, tighten it a bit. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. This is our flower. Each of us flower has this shape. If we say that it doesn't look good when you crochet, you can use your fingers, like this. Adjust each flower like this, to give it a floral shape. Adjust each one, to make it more three-dimensional and full. We can use our hands like this. Fasten it inside. Fasten it inside. Like this, use your hands. Hold the base of this flower with your hand. Stretch it out like this here. Then stretch it out and make it more three-dimensional and full. More three-dimensional and full like this. Adjust each flower like this, to make it more three-dimensional and full. After adjusting, the shape of the flower looks quite nice. Next, we need to hide this end of the thread. Still using our sewing needle. Sewing needle, it's best to hide it from the inside. Let's dress him in what we're wearing. Dress him in it. Let's find some coils for it. Dress it underneath. Below, we can thread it here. Don't tie up our thread. Make sure to thread through the coil. This way, hide the end of this thread inside here. Then roughly thread around 2 flowers. Let's hide it like this. Hide it inside here. Hide 2 flowers like this. If you still have plenty of thread left, you can hide several more flowers. Here, usually, hiding 2 flowers makes it more sturdy and hidden. Let's trim off the excess. After cutting it off, adjust it. Hide this end of the thread. Once we finish crocheting the flowers, next, we need to crochet again. Crochet 2 rows of single crochets with our off-white thread. When everyone is crocheting, always keep an eye on the crocheting. Is your rivet on the outside or inside? Let's make sure not to flip it the wrong way. Just at the beginning. Right, at the beginning. Let's also hide this thread. The thread at the beginning will also thread it through this part of our leaf. Probably thread it. Just 1 or 2 leaves will do. Do you feel it's hidden well enough? We'll trim off the excess. All right, hide the thread inside. After hiding the thread, shall we take it out from below? The main thread below. Here, I'll use off-white. Next, we need to crochet 2 rows of single crochets. The crochet hook is right in our flower. Anywhere on our flower is fine. Here, I usually start from the flower. This part of the flower, start stitching from the back here. We'll fasten it here with this marker. Start sewing him up from the back here. The crochet hook goes through here. Through this large hole. Everyone, take a look at this big hole. The hook goes through. Hook onto our white fabric strip. Then make a loop over. Make a loop over. Then we leave about approximately 10 centimeters of thread. Leave about 10 centimeters of thread. Press the thread inside here. We still have a loop on the crochet hook. The hook first wraps the thread. Wrap around the longest fabric strip. Wrap around the long one. Hook the fabric strip onto the loop on the crochet hook. This completes a starting stitch. This doesn't count as a stitch. This doesn't count. Then the crochet hook is still at this large hole. Thread through, hook over a loop. This way, there are 2 loops on the crochet hook. The hook wraps the thread through the 2 loops on the crochet hook. This is how you complete a single crochet. After completing a single crochet, we need to use a stitch marker to mark it. Look at the V shape below the crochet hook. There will be a V shape below the crochet hook. Place the stitch marker on the V shape below the crochet hook. Attach it there. You need to pull the yarn I'm holding here. It's easier to see. This is crocheting a single crochet. We need to crochet 2 more. Then wrap the yarn around the hook. And the yarn end is still above the hook. Everyone should follow this. On the back side, we hook the long one. Pull the fabric yarn over to form a loop. We pull this loop over. Don't make it too long. It's not good if it's too long. We just need a little. About a little over a centimeter is enough. Wrap the yarn around the hook like this. Pull through 2 loops. This is the second single crochet. Then we can move the yarn back, like this, adjust it back with your hand. And the crochet hook is still in the same position. Then crochet another single crochet on top. This way, we have completed 3 single crochets. Everyone, take a look. These are the 3 single crochets we just crocheted. Each and every one in the middle of this flower. We just need to crochet 3 single crochets each. Then the next one, we will crochet 3 single crochets in the same way. When we crochet this end of the yarn, we press it behind the flower. Press it behind with your hand to hide it. The next single crochet, the crochet hook is in the middle of these 2 flowers. Pass through and hook our long one. Bring over a loop of yarn. This loop should be a little over a centimeter. Don't let it be too long. Wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through 2 loops on the hook. This is a single crochet. Then the crochet hook goes through this hole. Hook the loop over. Wrap the yarn through 2 loops. 2 single crochet go through the same hole. Hook over 1 loop. Then wrap the yarn through 2 loops. These are 3 single crochet. After crocheting the 3 single crochet, here in the next one, crochet 3 single crochet in the middle of the 2 flowers. Here, in our case, take a look at this loop. Don't let it get too long. Approximately less than or equal to 1 centimeter is enough. This is the state of my crocheting. Don't let it get too long. As for this yarn end, press it down. It's easier to hide this way. Next, crochet 3 single crochet here again. The crochet hook goes through first. Pick up a loop. Then wrap the yarn and pull it through 2 loops on the hook. 1 single crochet. Then wrap the yarn around, not through this hole first. Hook a loop over. Then wrap the thread through 2 loops. 2 single crochet. Then through this hole again. Hook another loop over. Pay attention to this loop that's been hooked over. Don't let it be too long. Then wrap the thread. Pass through these 2 loops. Crochet 3 single crochet. We've woven 3 single crochet here. We've already woven 3 sets here. As for this thread of ours, we can cut it with this long thread end. We can cut it off after that. After cutting it off, we continue to crochet. Or in the next one, crochet 3 single crochet between 2 flowers. Hook another loop over. Make sure this loop isn't too long. Then the second single crochet. Then crochet the third single crochet. We can use our finger to hold the thread like this. Take this thread, place it in our hands. Use this method to secure it. Pull it vigorously, so he won't say it's too difficult to handle. Use this finger to pick out the thread for him. We can do it. Then, keep a loop on the crochet hook. Then, pass the hook through. Hook over a loop. Then wrap the thread. Pull through 2 loops. A single crochet. Then crochet another single crochet. Crochet another single crochet in the same hole. So 3 single crochets are woven. Crocheting 3 single crochets here again. If the hook falls off, we still thread through the loop in the same way. First, crochet a single crochet. Then wrap. Then pass through 2 single crochets. Pass through again. Crochet another single crochet. After completing the 3 single crochets, the next group here will continue to crochet 3 single crochets. What about the technique for the single crochets? That is to say, or rather, wrapping the yarn around. Once you wrap the yarn correctly, just pass through in sequence. Passing through 2 loops makes it easier. Here in our case, when braiding, make sure not to pull this loop too long. It must be kept small. It's probably about a little over a centimeter. If you end up pulling this loop too long, just pull the yarn back a bit. Don't let the loop be too long. At the beginning of the hook needle, don't make it too long. Crochet 3 chain stitches. Then the next one. Crochet 3 single crochets between the 2 flowers. Between every 2 flowers, crochet in the form of 3 single crochets like this. As you crochet, count 1, 2, 3. Don't crochet too much, and don't crochet too little. Then we keep crocheting until the end, between the 2 flowers. After crocheting 3, count them as 3 single crochets. After crocheting a single crochet between the last 2 flowers, we can use a marker to fasten it. This round, it's the last stitch. Everyone, look at the middle 3rd single crochet between the last 2 flowers. Fasten it in a V shape. This is the last stitch of this round. After finishing the last stitch, do a slip stitch. In the same way, fasten it at the marker on the 1st single crochet, at the V-shaped location. Insert the crochet hook. Then catch the yarn. Bring the yarn over to make a loop. Directly pull this loop to the back for a slip stitch. After finishing the slip stitch, make sure to pull the yarn diagonally upwards tightly. Pull it tight. Tighten, and then elongate the thread. Pull this long thread, then make the loop on the crochet hook a bit smaller. After making it smaller, wrap the hook around the thread. Pass through this loop on the hook. This is a chain stitch. This way, the first and last stitches are now connected together. After connecting them together, next, we still use the same method as in the second round, which is to crochet a single crochet inside each of these V-shapes. Crochet a single crochet on each V-shape. Crochet a single crochet on each V-shape. The starting point of our stitches is still at the marker button here. The marker button here. It's the place where we just did the yarn over. The hook still goes through here. Then pull over a thread. Then wrap the hook around the thread through these 2 loops. The first stitch of this round is completed. Remove the marker button. Attach it to this round. Under this crochet hook, there's a V-shape. This is the first stitch in our round. Next, we will crochet the second stitch in this round. Similarly, the crochet hook needs to pass through this V-shape here. Pick up a loop. The loop picked up is approximately 1 centimeter long. Then, wrap the yarn and pass through the 2 loops on the hook. This completes the second single crochet. Next, we will quickly crochet. Crocheting on each V-shape, the previous single crochet. Now, about the method of the single crochet. It's very simple. There's a loop on the hook. Pass through this V-shape. Pick up a loop. Wrap the yarn and pass through 2 loops on the hook. Let's talk about the size of the loop on the hook. It's approximately less than or equal to 1 centimeter. The loop on the hook is less than or equal to 1 centimeter. The crochet hook is less than or equal to 1 centimeter in size. Then the crochet hook goes through the V-shaped loop above. The loop formed by hooking the yarn over, just a little over a centimeter. Each stitch is woven with a single crochet. I won't explain in detail here. The method same the initial single crochet. Crochet. Crochet a single crochet onto each V-shape. When everyone is crocheting, do not add an extra needle to a V-shape. Everyone, pay attention. Crochet a single crochet onto each V-shape. It's still this round. Still crochet 42 single crochet. While crocheting, try to ensure that each one, single crochet are of consistent size. Don't let them be tight one moment and loose the next. We keep crocheting until the last stitch. At the marker button there. While crocheting, you can carefully inspect it yourself. Under no circumstances, add extra needles. On each V-shape, crochet until the last V-shape. Don't crochet an additional single crochet. Then you can remove this clasp. Fasten it around our group. The V-shaped under the hook corresponds to the final stitch of our group. Attach the corner clasp. Then continue with the slip stitch. The hook should pass through here at the first V-shaped point. It needs to be fastened through this spot. Hook the loop of thread. Directly pull the loop in front of this loop to the back. Then pull the thread in front tight. Pull tight in a diagonal upward direction. After pulling tight, then pull the longer thread. Make the loop on the hook slightly smaller. Then wrap the thread around. Pass through this loop. This completes a chain stitch. After completing a chain stitch, we can then cut the main thread. Cut it to about 10 centimeters. Let's cut it. Cut it to about 10 centimeters. Let's give it a trim. Then use a crochet hook to pull this yarn over. Then our main thread for this round is also completed. Everyone, take a look. This is the state we have woven. Let's hide this loose end. We'll use the same method with a sewing needle. Starting from the first stitch here, we'll thread it to the back. After threading to the back, we'll hide the thread in these loops on the back. Approximately 6 or 7 stitches to hide. Around 6 or 7 stitches. We'll then trim off the excess. Now, let's adjust it. Our bag. After each section of thread is woven, we adjust it each time. Gradually, the shape of our bag is starting to show.
这是编织完之后，
Next, we still need to crochet leaves here. We need to start from the first stitch here, marked with a button. Starting from this first stitch here, we'll take out the thread for the leaves. Next, we need to crochet a row of leaves, and then a row of flowers. I won't demonstrate each step here. If anyone forgets how to crochet, let's go back. Let's review the leaf crocheting method just now. Leaves and flowers. Feel free to take a screenshot for reference. This is our crocheting technique. For leaves, it's a repetition of double crochet, chain stitch, and extended stitch. For flowers, it's 4 double crochet followed by 3 chain stitches. If anyone forgets, let's take a screenshot for reference. To save time, here, I have a completed crochet. Take a look, everyone. We need to recrochet this part again. Take a look, everyone. It's like crocheting this part repeatedly. Compare. Let's crochet another row of leaves and flowers. Then 2 rows of single crochets will be enough. If anyone forgets how to crochet, let's revisit the leaf we learned at the beginning of the video. Here are the flowers. Take a closer look again. We are repeating it again. Repeat this once more. Just crochet it. After crocheting, it will look something like this. And then finally, let's attach the handle again. Inside our material kit, there are 2 handles. Let's sew the handle onto the crochet hook. Hook it here, and we are done. Our final step. Next, take out our Let's take out our marker clip. We need to make some markings first. Take out 4 marker clips. Everyone here, take a look and after adjusting the bag evenly, first, let's count. Starting from the very edge here. Let's start counting. Count to the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the 6th one here, let's clip on the marker clip. We can first use a suture needle to secure it before fastening. Use the suture needle before fastening. After the suture needle goes through, in the corresponding position. On the other side, we mark it with a suture needle. This is where we will need to sew the handle later. Let's take a look. Pinch it on the 6th V-shape of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After adjusting it evenly, we pinch it well. Then on the 6th V-shape, we sew it with a suture needle. Here, let's see if this side also has 6 V-shaped patterns, roughly. This is the 6th, the 5th, the 4th, the 3rd, the 2nd, the 1st spots. Well, the approximate positions are even. Then from this side, similarly, we find the 6th spot. Probably around here. We must make sure it's evenly adjusted. Starting from the very edge, let's find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is the 6th one. Let's also take out another sewing needle. Here, I'll use a crochet hook as a substitute first. Then, directly pass it through the back of this one. This is what we need later. This is where we need to sew the handle. Let's fasten them all. We need to fasten them like this, because we mark the front and back of the bag with fasteners. Only then will the position of sewing the handle be symmetrical. Let's mark these places with fasteners first. Fasten with these fasteners. Then we can remove all the crochet hooks and sewing needles. Next, we will sew it here. For the handle, let's first take out a handle. For the handle, we just directly everyone. For the handle, use it in a reverse manner. First, place it inside the bag in a reversed manner, at the position of the handle. This position of the handheld, this edge, here, probably around this marked buckle here. Aligning roughly should be sufficient. Insert the crochet hook through this marked buckle, directly through our handbag. Then take out our fabric yarn. Take out our beige one. Here, I'll still use the beige fabric yarn. Then hook the long fabric yarn over here. Pull over a loop. I didn't pull it properly over here. Pull over a loop. Then let's take a look and leave a yarn end. If your yarn end is relatively short, we manually extend this yarn end a bit. We shouldn't leave the yarn end too short. Leaving around 7 to 8 centimeters should be enough. Manually pull it a bit longer. And we must definitely press this, together with the handbag and the purse. We need the loop on the crochet hook to be longer, long enough to wrap around this edge. Just enough to wrap around the edge. Then wrap the yarn around the crochet hook and pull it through the loop on the hook. This completes a chain stitch. What's next? Now, we take this yarn end. You can wrap it around our crochet hook like this. Wrap it around our handle like this. This way, it's better secured. Then, along with this yarn end, our handbags are like this. And with this bag, press it together like this, so it won't swing back and forth. It's easier to crochet. Next, we move on to the next V shape. Insert the crochet hook through the next V shape, then directly through our handle. Then hook onto the long strip of fabric. Hook through a loop. Make sure this loop is a bit longer than our handle. Then wrap the yarn around and insert through 2 loops on the hook. This completes a single crochet. Then on the next V shape, insert the hook as usual. Insert it through our handle. Hook onto the long strip of fabric. Pull a loop through. Pull the loop through and elongate it a bit. Then wrap the hook around the yarn and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. Don't make it too long. Just a quick look for everyone. Just up to here. Up to here, it should wrap around our work. Up to this point, just enough to wrap around the height of our project bag. It's the most appropriate. Insert the hook through the next one. We're going to work on each of these V shapes. Just work a single crochet on top. Then work the hook on the V shape again. Go through the next V shape. Hook onto our fabric yarn. Pull through a loop. Just right, enough to cover the height of our project bag. Then wrap the yarn through and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. We've fixed it with a single crochet using the hook. Sure gave it a fixed one. This handbag. Each one gradually woven through us. Our thread end here, slowly hidden inside. Then pass through the next V shape. Hook our fabric strip. Hook a long loop over. Then wrap the thread through 2 loops. Our thread end gradually crocheted through and hide it away. Then the hook passes through the next hole. Then crochet a single crochet. Keep crocheting until we reach the marked button. Gradually crocheting through. Our thread end all hidden, if not hidden evenly, if here. Just hide about 6 or 7 stitches. We can cut off this thread end. Then continue crocheting. Keep crocheting until we reach the marked button. Crochet the last single crochet. After crocheting the single crochet, then wrap the thread to crochet a chain stitch. And we're done hand crocheting. We leave about 10 centimeters of thread end. We can then cut it off. Then, use the hook needle to pull this thread over. This way, our handle is completed. We twist the handle up. After twisting it up, we must adjust this loop of thread. Now our handle is sewn together. Everyone, take a look. It should look like this. Then, manually tuck away this thread end. Bring out our sewing needle again. With this thread end, we still thread it through these. It's more discreet to thread them inside. We use this single crochet with the marking to thread it through here. From the middle of this single crochet, from the middle of this V shape, thread the needle through. Once the loop of thread is adjusted, we directly thread it through. Thread it through here again. Hide it inside. We can look for some hidden coils inside. Then, inside the bag, look for some hidden coils. Let's hide about 6 or 7 needles in it. We'll hide 6 or 7 needles here. Hide them inside these coils. After hiding a few needles, we can trim off the excess. This way, our handbag can have the mark clasp removed. This way, our handbag will be stitched up. Then for the other handbag, let's use the same method. Place the handbag inside like we did before. It's exactly the same as before here. Then insert the crochet hook from here. Thread it through the mark clasp first, directly through our handbag. Then take out our long strip of fabric and continue using the single crochet method. Crochet a single crochet onto each V shape. It's the same method as here. Continue crocheting until the mark clasp. That's it. After finishing crocheting, let's add another chain stitch. We won't explain each additional long thread one by one. If anyone forgets, just rewind and watch again from the beginning here. Using the same method, sew both handles together. Sew it onto the bag, then the bag is complete. This is the entire tutorial for our bag.